The reason for picking up the topic of trauma at this particular moment is personal and professional, and it's also exactly what I've been discussing in this call is keeping an eye on what's going on externally in the world, but also for me a deeply personal build on my whole journey through trauma, from the moment that I raised my awareness about how it affected me, as a woman, as a person of color, as a from a socioeconomic stance, to now and very recently being in a situation where, I've had to deal with a life-threatening illness. I had to deal with a near-death experience, and it's helped me to reevaluate my understanding of what trauma can do, but also how important it is to work through the trauma, to acknowledge it. There's no shame in admitting that you've been impacted, emotionally, mentally. If I broke my arm, I would seek help. I would go and get something to get that medically sorted. But then the same needs to apply to your mental health, your well-being, your recovery, having tools that help you manage that situation. And that's the journey that I've personally been on. So this is my demonstration of vulnerability. It's my demonstration of self-disclosure, which is hard to do as leaders, because when you self-disclose, traditionally the impact was, oh, now I've made myself vulnerable and, X, Y, and Z. But vulnerability is a strength. And it also gives permissions to all of us to create that space where we can discuss the things that matter. So that's on the personal front. And what I was particularly struck by was learning about the impact of our nervous system when we're faced with trauma. And, there are three dimensions. So when we're under fear and with threat, our cortisol and our adrenaline levels go up. And as I was learning about that, I was just reflecting on my career in this space and my career as a person of a minority background. And I could see so many connections, constantly being in the fight mode, or the flight mode, what impact that has on your health and your well-being. And then I looked at the next dimension, which was the drive, the ability to change things, the dopamine hit, which is important to help us to, overcome some of the negative effects of cortisol and adrenaline. And then once again, I reflected on my own experience professionally and personally, how I've utilized that to develop my business, to develop my offering, to have connections with our clients and to help them to progress their own thinking in this area. But what I was also mindful, just going to the last element, in terms of regulating and soothing the nervous system, there's the oxytocin, which is the feel-good factor, which is knowing that you are making a difference, knowing that your voice is impacting, knowing that you are part of the solution and not part of the problem. And so when I looked at those three areas, it just, for me, really helped me to reflect on the journey I've been on personally and professionally, the work I do, and it's reinvigorated me to think about the purpose that GDP plays and I play and that my teams play, and we all play, in making a difference in this world.